Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Trade proposal sends $90 million scoring machine to Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are on a 5-game losing streak. The loss of DeAnthony Melton, who is out for the season with an ACL injury, has hit the Warriors' defense hard. Steve Kerr's team enjoyed a bright start to the season. Their deep 12-man rotation allowed them to play an intense brand of basketball on both sides of the ball. The early success limited the perception that Golden State needed to consolidate its roster. However, with the Warriors' recent struggles, it's fair to assume trade talks are back on the table. According to Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley, the Warriors should turn their attention to Norman Powell. He proposed a trade that would send the sharpshooting wing to the Bay Area. The trade would look like this: Warriors receive, Norman Powell. Clippers receive, DeAnthony Melton and Jonathan Kuminga. The Warriors don't have the deepest asset collection, and under the collective bargaining agreement, it's tricky for them to make the finances work on a major move, Buckley reasoned. That's why they could consider buying high on Powell. Is it fair to be skeptical about a 31-year-old playing at a higher level than ever before? Absolutely. But if this late career breakout is remotely sustainable, then that's plenty of production added without breaking the bank. Even if Powell proves to be less of a true second option and more like someone who can share that role with the resurgent Andrew Wiggins, that could work. Powell is in the fourth year of the 5-year $90 million deal he signed with the Portland Trail Blazers in 2021. He's averaging 23.6 points, 2.9 rebounds, and 2.3 assists over 16 games this season. He's shooting the ball at a 49.2% clip from the field and 49.6% from three-point range on 7.9 attempts per game. Mike Dunleavy Jr. is unlikely to rush into any potential trade negotiations. He's shown great restraint when it comes to negotiating deals that could cost the Warriors some of their younger talent or future draft picks. However, if he wants to upgrade the roster, he must be willing to use some of his trade chips ahead of the February 6th trade deadline. According to Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, the Warriors are among a handful of teams that have been keeping tabs on Kyle Kuzma. The veteran forward has been with the Washington Wizards since the 2021-22 season and has been a key player for them. The Sacramento Kings have also been linked to Kuzma for the past 2 seasons, Scotto reported. Other teams who've kept tabs on Kuzma include the Bucks, Warriors, Lakers, Heat, and Cavaliers, Hoops Hype has learned. Kuzma is in the second year of his 4-year, $90 million contract. He is one of the most tradable players in the league due to his team-friendly deal and valuable production as a 3-and-D forward. Kuzma wouldn't be the second star the Warriors are looking for, but he would improve the overall starting lineup and provide additional experience in the locker room. The Warriors came into the season with hopes of making a deep playoff run. Warriors Stephen Curry, Draymond Green ruled out early for Rockets clash. The road ahead isn't getting any easier for a Golden State Warriors team that has seemed to lost the golden touch they had to begin the 2024-25 season. Heading into their Thursday night battle against the resurgent Houston Rockets, the Warriors have lost their past 5 games, falling all the way down to 7th place in the Western Conference standings. But things may be going from bad to worse for the Dubs. It is a worrying sign that the Warriors have already ruled out 2 of their best players, Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, well in advance of their impending clash against the Rockets, according to the official NBA.com injury report. Green was also absent during the Dubs' 119-115 loss to the Denver Nuggets last night, so it's not particularly surprising that he's ruled out this early as he continues to deal with a potentially serious calf injury. But for Curry, he continues to deal with a nagging knee injury that already sidelined him earlier this season in a 4-point loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The heavy schedule early in the season seems to be affecting the Warriors' star, as Golden State is simply managing the soreness in his knee so as to preserve him for when the stakes of the season increase. But with Curry and Green both out, it looks like the Warriors are well on their way to a sixth defeat in a row, although the saving grace is that their game tomorrow night will be held in the friendly confines of Chase Center. Role players shoot better at home than on the road, so there is potential for the Dubs to trip up the Rockets come Thursday night. The Thursday night clash between the Warriors and the Rockets should heavily favor the latter. Houston may be without Tari Eason, but Eason's absence cannot compare to that of Stephen Curry and Draymond Green's. Regardless, the Warriors have shown in the past that they can be surprisingly competitive even without Curry, and to a lesser extent, Green. But a lot of their players have to step up, especially if they were to mount a challenge against the second-best defense in the NBA this season. The onus to carry the team will fall on the shoulders of Brandon Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga, and Andrew Wiggins, while Buddy Hield will have to channel his early season form for the Warriors to pose a threat against the Rockets in what could be a trap game for Houston. Warriors again curiously linked to trade for former Lakers champion. The Golden State Warriors and Washington Wizards have recent history as trade partners, with the two teams getting together in a blockbuster deal involving Chris Paul and Jordan Poole in June last year. With the rebuilding Wizards likely to be sellers and the playoff-contending Warriors expected to be buyers, there's a possibility that the teams could reconvene on another deal prior to the February 6 trade deadline. If Golden State are going to have interest in any Washington player, it's likely to be forward Kyle Kuzma, who's expected to garner interest from a number of teams across the league. In a new report on Monday, Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype linked the Warriors to a trade for the 2020 NBA champion. Other teams who've kept tabs on Kuzma include the Bucks, Warriors, Lakers, Heat, and Cavaliers, according to Scotto. Kuzma has had a down start to the season that's been impacted by injury, with the 29-year-old currently averaging 15.8 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 1.9 assists on a less-than-ideal 42% shooting from the floor and 27.6% from three-point range. Last season provided a far greater indication of Kuzma's best, putting up 22.2 points on 46.3% shooting to go with 6.6 rebounds and 4.2 assists per game. He put up 21.2 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 3.7 assists the year prior, having been a volume shooter but not an overly efficient one throughout his 8-year career to date. Kuzma is making $23.5 million this season, but is actually on a descending contract that ends with him making $19.4 million in 2026-27. That's sure to increase his value among potential suitors, though it's still not easy for the Warriors to reach this year's number. DeAnthony Melton's $12.8 million expiring contract gets Golden State just over halfway there, yet any deal for Kuzma would likely have to include some combination of Gary Payton, Kevin Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and draft capital. The Warriors could certainly do with another 18 to 20 point per game scorer, particularly as they try to lessen the burden on a 36-year-old Stephen Curry. Kuzma could slide into the small forward spot, pushing Andrew Wiggins to the two-guard in a big Golden State lineup that also features Draymond Green and a center. Bear in mind that this is not the first time the Warriors have been linked to a trade for Kuzma, with Sam Amico of Hoops Wire reporting their interest in January prior to last season's deadline. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Kyle Kuzma? Leave your opinion in the comments.